Today I'm going to compare the most common types of microphones that you can use as a video content creator or YouTuber to help you work out what mic might work best for you depending on your use case and the type of content you create and your budget. Having good quality audio is hugely important, and the common saying is that people will put up with poor quality video but they won't put up with poor quality audio. So in this video, as I discuss each type of microphone, I'm going to be recording with that mic so you can get a sense of what the audio sounds like. I'll talk about the pros and cons and what might work best for you, and then at the end I'll share what I use most regularly and what works for me. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first type of microphone that I wanted to talk about is an onboard built-in camera mic on your DSLR or mirrorless camera. Now in my opinion, the quality of these microphones have improved a lot over the years, and probably the biggest pro to using these types of mics is the fact that they're built in, so there's no extra equipment needed. It's just all recorded together and then you can just edit the one file. However, there are quite a few cons with using your inbuilt camera mic. First is obviously the audio quality. It's not going to sound as good as a dedicated microphone. You're going to pick up a lot more ambient noise and echo, like even in this room you can hear a bit more of that echo, and I would say it's definitely not ideal. If you're sitting back from your camera like this, if you're up a lot closer and you're filming with your camera right in front of you, then it might be more acceptable, but overall the quality just isn't usually that great when it comes to inbuilt camera microphones. Plus you often have to boost it quite loud, and this could introduce some background hiss because the preamps in cameras aren't usually that good. So who's this best for? I would probably recommend against using your inbuilt microphone if you can. In a pinch you could definitely get away with it, especially if you're doing more run and gun style filming, but other than that I'd probably only use it as a backup. The next type of microphone that I wanted to talk about is your phone microphone, and depending on what model you've probably actually got a really decent microphone ready to go. As you can tell, the quality of this iPhone 11 is actually pretty good considering this model is already a few years old. It's also super accessible, so if you don't want to go out and spend extra money on a new microphone, you could just start with your phone. Especially if you've got a newer model, most modern smartphones have pretty high quality microphones built in. I'm literally just recording this audio into the Voice Notes app, then I'll just transfer the file to my computer and sync it up with a video file. Now that could also be seen as a con, so you do have to sync your audio file with your video file, which is an extra step, so it will take a little bit more effort. And I'd say the other main con is the fact that it's quite obvious that you're holding something in your videos, which doesn't necessarily look the most professional. Again, that kind of depends on the type of content that you're filming. So you might be able to get away with it, like if you're doing kind of run and gun street interviews and that type of thing. But again, even for sitting down talking head videos like this, it's actually not that bad. But if you don't like having your microphone in shot, then this isn't going to be quite the right option for you. So who's it best for? Again, I think if it's just starting out, you don't want to spend extra money on a microphone, but you don't want to use your inbuilt camera mic, then this could be a great option. And for more casual style videos, it could also totally be acceptable. Now, just before I talk about the next mic, I want to share another tool that helps me create content, and that is Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a nootropic performance shot with all natural ingredients that I drink alongside my morning coffee every day. I think it's great because while my caffeine boost from my coffee wears off in a couple of hours, Magic Mind gives me clear mental energy for my entire 8+ hour workday. It was actually about 6 months ago now when Magic Mind reached out to me to see if I wanted to work with them, and to be totally honest, I was actually a bit skeptical at the start, and it took some convincing for me to actually want to try it because I wasn't totally convinced that such a small little drink could actually do what it claimed. But I decided to give it a try, and about a week into using it, my mid-afternoon crash was totally gone. My stress levels were noticeably lower and I was able to stay productive for the entire day. So I've been taking Magic Mind ever since, and it definitely means I'm able to create more content. And Magic Mind has been kind enough to offer viewers of this particular video a free trial. Just use the link in the description with the code NICKTRIAL to get 3 completely free bottles to see if it works for you. And if you don't like it, just cancel your subscription within 30 days and you won't be charged. Now let's get into the next mic. All right, so the next type of microphone I want to talk about is the shotgun mic. Now there's kind of 2 categories of shotgun mic. There's on-camera shotgun mics, which is what I'm recording with currently. I'm using a Rode VideoMic Pro. And then the other type is shotgun mics that you typically attach to things like a boom arm. Now these are often a lot more expensive, but you also get much higher quality audio. So some of the pros pros, I would say, with a on-camera shotgun mic is that you're going to get much higher quality audio than you would just with the internal microphone. It also will plug directly into your camera, which means there's no extra syncing needed in post. Again, it's all going to get recorded onto the one file, and there's no microphone visible in the shot. And lastly, shotgun mics are quite directional, which means that if you go out to the side or behind the microphone, it's going to pick up less of your voice. Whereas if you're directly in front of the microphone, you're going to be able to hear a lot more clearly. When it comes to a boom arm shotgun mic, I would say the main pros is the fact that they're actually really high quality, especially if you get a good quality, expensive one. And they're even more directional than a microphone like this Rode, which can really help to reduce background noise. Now, in terms of the cons for this mic, because it is directional, it means you have to be directly in front of it to get the best quality audio. So if you're shooting run and gun and you're behind your camera and you want to still be able to hear your voice, this might not be the best choice. And typically the further back you get from a shotgun mic, the lower the audio quality is going to get. The cons of a boom arm shotgun mic is mainly the fact that you're going to have to record that probably externally to your camera using like a Zoom recorder or an audio interface, which means you're going to have to sync that audio file with your video file. Plus, with a boom arm shotgun mic, they're not run and gun. You have to set them up and leave them, especially if you're a solo content creator like I am. So who's this best for? I would say if you're sitting in a single spot like me and shooting A-roll, then it could be a good option. Again, because it's directional, it's going to cancel out some background noise, which can be really helpful. And I'd also say they're actually really good for vlogging. So if you're holding the camera towards yourself and you're filming, then this could be a great choice. So the next microphone is a wireless microphone, which is what I've got attached to my Colligist here. I'm going to show you two different quality levels of wireless mic. So this particular mic records in 8-bit and the next microphone I'll show you records in 10-bit. Now basically I've got the mic clipped to my collar here, and then I've got the receiver plugged directly into my camera, which is great because that means the audio is being recorded directly to my video file. It means less work in post. Another pro to a wireless mic is you get more consistent audio levels. You can really move around kind of wherever you want. So if I move the back of my studio, I'm still going to get clear audio. If I come back over to my seat, I'm still going to get clear audio. And depending on the strength of your transmitter, you can often move quite a fair distance away, but still be able to hear yourself really clearly. And just for reference, this particular wireless mic can record in 10-bit. So the previous mic that I was using is a Boya mic, and that's the 8-bit one. And then this is a Hollyland Lark Max, which records in 10-bit. And think of 8-bit versus 10-bit kind of the same way as you think of higher bit rates when it comes to video. So the higher the bit rate, the more data that the microphone is able to pick up. Therefore, you're able to get a higher quality audio signal from that particular mic. Now, when it comes to cons for wireless mics like this, the first one is kind of obvious. It's really visible in shot, especially when you've got these bigger ones that clip onto you or magnetically attach. It's quite obvious depending on the color of clothing that you're wearing. The other big con to a microphone like this is that because it's not really placed in an ideal recording position, which is more like right in front of your mouth, you typically have to EQ these more in post. So who are these best for? I would say if you move around in your videos a lot, like again, maybe you do more vlogging or moving around in a space or outdoors and you want clean, consistent audio, then a wireless lapel mic is really a great choice. It's also really easy to set up and clip on. So if you want a simple option, it could be good for you. The main thing I reckon to keep in mind is that they may just require a little more EQ than other types of mics in post-production. So that's just worth keeping in mind. All right, so the next type of mic might not be immediately obvious, but you can actually see it, which is a wired lapel mic. So that's this little microphone that I've got just attached to my jacket. Now this is actually plugged into the Hollyland transmitter. And the benefit of using a wired lapel like this is that it's actually a lot more discreet than just having this attached to your chest. So as you can see, when I hide this, especially since I'm wearing a black jacket, it's really not that obvious. Again, there's no need to sync your audio files with your video because you can plug your receiver directly into your camera. You're still going to get the same high quality sound. And again, because it's wireless, you're able to move around your space without your audio levels being affected. Now, there are a few cons with a wired lapel like this. The first is that they can be a bit more tricky to put on because you kind of do need them to be pointing up towards your mouth. Again, the audio can often need a bit more EQ in post just because it's hard to get that microphone positioning exactly right. And another downside is that they can be susceptible to picking up like scratching noises if you're moving around and your clothing is kind of brushing against the microphone. And because they don't have great wind noise protection, they're also not necessarily ideal for outdoor use if it's windy. So who's this best for, I would say, if you want a really discreet option, but it's going to give you the freedom and flexibility to be able to move around your space, then this is a really solid option. Just keep in mind that they do require a little bit more finesse when it comes to putting it on and then again EQing it in post. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about my podcasting microphone. Now, this particular mic I'm using is a Rode Pod mic. I've also used a Shure MV7 before in the past, and I love both of these microphones. Big pro for a podcasting style microphone like this is that it's really high quality audio. You're probably going to get the highest quality audio of all the different types of microphones that I've mentioned, especially for your voice if you're shooting A-roll like I am right now. And they're also really great at cancelling out background noise. Again, they're very directional, so if I go too far behind it, the noise is going to get cancelled out. Whereas when I come back around in front of it, it's going to sound a lot clearer, which means that if there's background noise in your environment, it's not going to pick that up anywhere near as much. Now, in terms of the cons, it is super visible in shot. So if you don't want a microphone in shot, then this might not be the right choice. Plus, you probably will need to sync the audio file you record with a microphone like this with your video file, because most mirrorless cameras don't support directly plugging in a microphone like this. So who is this microphone best for? I'd say it's probably best for people who shoot talking head videos like I do, where you're usually sitting in the one spot and speaking to camera, and for people who struggle with background noise. Like in my area, there's often a lot of construction noise going on. So using a microphone like this enables me to have a lot more flexibility with when I can actually film. In terms of EQing these microphones in post, it really depends on the model that you buy. You can get some podcasting mics that essentially have the EQ built in, more like the Shure MV7. Whereas with this Rode Pod mic, there is a little bit more work to do in post to get it sounding just the way I want it to. So that's worth keeping in mind when you're looking for which model to buy. Now, finally, what do I personally use the most? And if you've seen any of my other videos, it's pretty obvious that I use my podcasting microphone the most. It's mainly because I think it's the highest quality audio, and I can leave it permanently set up just attached to my desk on a boom arm, which means there's less setup time for me. I also personally don't mind having the microphone in shot too much. And then my other most commonly used type of microphone is the wireless mic. And I'll use this when I'm shooting outdoors, doing more run and gun style filming. But ultimately, the type of microphone you want to pick will depend on the type of content you're filming, your budget, and your personal preferences. But no matter which microphone you pick, generally, I would say the more money you're able to allocate towards a microphone, usually the better quality audio you're going to get. And don't forget, if you want to check out Magic Mind completely for free, then check out the link in the description and use my discount code. But since the Pod mic is my most used microphone, then check out the review for that right here.